Friday Night Lights, sponsored by Jack in the Box.
Well, preseason camp ends for some tonight. Others are still chomping at the bit to start their respective season campaigns. You've tuned in to week number 1 of Friday Night Lights. I'm Rob Friend.
And I'm Alex Cheney. The sole local program opening its season tonight has waited all offseason for its shot at redemption as the Kofa Kings are coming off one of its worst seasons in program history, finishing, well, winless in 2015.
Yikes. As much as Kofa is looking out for its first win of the gate, well, their opponent also finished winless last year as well and are just as hungry to get that W. So with that being said, here's our season opening marquee matchup where the Kings would battle it out against Trevor Brown as both the Crimson and White fan base and the Kings themselves having good feelings about tonight's opener. Just some good feelings going around. Let's see if it pays off. Opening kickoff, Kofa's Isaac Marquez is going to find a seam up the middle, and the kid just keeps his legs moving. That's the key to staying on your feet. Just keep it chugging. And he finally goes down near midfield. King's second drive, Kofa, as in David Castaneda's Kofa, jukes some defenders and gets a decent gain. And then Castaneda again would do work, bursting up the middle for 13 yards this time around and bringing down a bunch of Bruins with him. Then the misdirection. Marquez is going to get through the line, make people miss, and he is gone, baby, gone. 7-0, Kofa looking royal. Take it away, Alex.
Yes, sir. Kofa looking to extend their shutout, and they get off to a great start here. Kings defense is going to look for a tackle for loss from Gabriel Castaneda, making his name known on the defense. Back to the ground for the Kofa offense as David Castaneda is going to hit the hole hard, rumble up the right side. It looks almost like a touchdown, but the referees would call him out of bounds. Tough break for the Kings there, but that good run would turn into a field goal, giving the Kings a 10-0 lead. Could that hold up? Yes, it could. Kofa's defense never let up tonight. Whole defense dragging down the Bruin on that one. Some great team defense from the Kofa Kings. And here, let's give a little love to the special teams. A Kofa punt turns into a great tackle on the other end from Isaac Marquez. Kofa gets on the win column, and in shutout fashion, 10-0 Kings over Trevor Brown.
Congratulations to them on getting that elusive win, and man, Kofa looking confident. Meanwhile, Imperial Valley's season doesn't start up until next week, but most area teams took advantage of the All-Imperial Valley League scrimmage. Well, of course, you got the Manzanita League as well. Holtville involved as well as Calipatria. Central, Southwest, Calexico also included as some of the teams in the area, as you can see, just getting work done. Nice.
Well, our highlights may be done, but we still have much more coming up for you.
Absolutely, including one big preview of one of the biggest teams in our area. Find out what they're all about right after this.
You're watching Friday Night Lights on KYMA.
Now, back to more Friday Night Lights, sponsored by Jack in the Box.
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights. Yuma Catholic football has new leadership, but the program's mission doesn't change.
That's not a big surprise there. Aaron Cheatwood takes the head coaching helm for the first time with YC, but in tonight's FNL preview of the Rocks, nothing else has changed in Shamrock Nation.
I don't think there's another team in town or in the state that work as hard as our kids do.
The Yuma Catholic Shamrocks are driven for excellence. The program has won 3 state titles in the last 5 years and now is starting fresh with a new head coach. Aaron Cheatwood inherits a squad loaded with talent on both sides of the football. Offensively, senior quarterback James Stover takes over after being sidelined with a torn ACL last fall.
Coming off an injury, he's worked really hard. Always asking questions to get better.
We got to learn the intricacies of the position and learn, how the coaches see the game.
Stover will have a solid group of weapons around him, including the likes of wide receiving threat Julian Aitken and multi-purpose back Jalen Barnes, who many believe will exceed his 1,500 all-purpose yards from his junior season.
He knows the offense and defense inside and out, and he works his butt off every single day.
When you need a play, you go to a person like Jalen Barnes. I improved a lot. I got bigger. I got a lot faster.
On the defensive side of the ball, the Rocks returned the majority of their starters from last year's squad and believe this could be their best group they've had in recent years. One big reason for that is highly touted defensive end Daniel Callender.
Daniel's pass rush is almost impossible to block.
DeCal is exactly what you said. He's a beast. He's a game changer.
We're in, third and long, and we're in pass-heavy scenarios, and he can pin his ears back. No one can stop them.
The only concern the Rocks have is their roster size, as his 30-player team looks to stay healthy, especially in the brutally tough first half of their upcoming schedule. Even though the Rocks made an early exit out of the playoffs last fall, the drive for their highest goal remains as intense as ever.
Once you win that first state title, there's no setting that bar back down. The goal every year is to go out and win a state title.
Well, the Rocks open their season at home next Friday against a very tough St. Mary's team. All right, well, still to come on FNL, Alex and I will be sharing our personal perspectives on this upcoming season with complete previews of the IBL.
Plus, we have our first Jack in the Box Play of the Week. Stick around. Lots more coming up right here on Friday Night Lights.
Now, back to more Friday Night Lights, sponsored by Jack in the Box.
Welcome back, everybody. Before we break down this upcoming season, we want to take some time to update you on some of the contests that you might have missed out on.
Let's take a look at our FNL scoreboard for tonight. Looks like we're starting things off with Cibola losing to Horizon 44-7. Rob, what do you think?
Man, that's a heartbreaker, considering the fact, too, that, remember, Cibola is rebuilding. They're replacing a number of starters. So these young kids are coming up and getting a tough game on the road. It's just heartbreaking to see it go down like that.
Well, the Gila Valley champions from just a year ago, you'd think maybe they'd come out and, well, Horizon must be a good team. Well, we also have Kofa beating Trevor Brown 10-0. The storylines abound on this one.
That's just huge. I mean, Kofa hasn't had a win since 2014.
Look at that.
So they can hang their hat on that and use that for momentum for the next few weeks.
So Ben Franzen, he has those guys playing hard. So
Absolutely.
I definitely see some more wins in their future there.
If they're not celebrating tonight, they should be. It's worth it. Absolutely.
Also, we have Cortez. This game was on Thursday. Antelope lost to Cortez 34-6. Rob.
And it's sad because the same story continues for them. They've been trying to rebuild and regroup and get the program back on track. Gary Maldin just hasn't been able to do it the last couple of years.
Yeah, great coach, great program. Really hope these guys can get something in the win column moving forward into our season.
All right, well, even though 3 games of the season are now played out, Alex and I are going to talk some shop about some big conversations we're going to have about this regular season. Starting with the big change that took place in the offseason with Yuma Catholic, obviously Coach Aaron Cheatwood taking over, and, you know, as I went out to practice, it's the same mentality. It's the same vibe as Rhett Stallworth set up. So again, the same machine is operating, you just have 2 different coaches with 2 different personalities at the helm.
I think that's indicative of a very well-built program. You know what I mean? You can switch out coaches, these guys, the same playbook, they're still with each other. You keep that same team chemistry, even though you change the head coach. I think that's really a testament to just what a wonderful program YC has built over the years.
And they have high respect for Cheatwood as they did Stallworth, so that's important there. And the second topic, the Gila Valley realignment. Alex, what are your feelings about that?
Well, you know, it's tough. I mean, you're breaking up some very traditional rivalries, such as Yuma and Kofa. I mean, these 2 teams have been playing each other for, you said earlier tonight, over 60 years. So this is, one of the premier rivalries in Yuma. And so, of course, you don't want to break those teams up. Also with Gila Ridge. And I know, at least in my high school in Orange County, they broke up the teams. And it kind of really breaks that hometown feel just a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, keep in mind, folks, we're not saying they're not playing each other. They're still going to. But they're just not going to play at the end of the season. They're going to play much earlier, so that rivalry feel may not be there like it once was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally, the IVL power shift. We're going to get more in detail on this, but, the question is, who could dethrone Imperial? Because they won it last year. Is there anybody you think that could dethrone Imperial?
Well, you like Southwest. Well, we'll get more into that in just a little bit. Brawley, of course, is bringing that triple option with them, and they're now incorporating the passing game. Could that really change things up? And Rob, apparently so.
Yeah, absolutely. My predictions for the IVL, well, you know what? The last several years, we're talking the last 5 years, it's either been Imperial or Brawley. One of those 2 guys have won. The last time anybody else but them has won, Southwest tied with Brawley for the league title in 2010, and Central actually won it in 2009. So these teams have been dominant. I don't see a change, but you know what? Southwest is a team to look out for. Even though I have them finishing 4th this year, they got the weapons coming back next season to leapfrog all the way to 1, maybe 2. So watch out for Southwest, but I think the Hog Mollies with Central, Brawley, and Imperial are just going to be too much.
Man, you're pulling out some stats, Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Absolutely.
Well, moving on, let's go ahead and take a look at some of my IVL predictions. I as well have Imperial coming back and winning this thing. And I agree. Southwest, they have some really great playmakers returning. You have Cameron Youngers, Tyler Sycon. This is a very talented group. They have a great offensive line coming back. I really like their coach in John Midasinka. A very well-trained, well-run group. I like how they mix it up very well. And Youngers is a dual-threat quarterback, and I think that's something. Aaron Benias had a lot of success in that in the IVL last season on a way to a 5-0. So I do like the Southwest Eagles as well, and they look like LSU. So hey.
Hey, that's a win-win for Alex right there. Well, here's a preview of our week number 2 of Friday Night Lights. When we bring up that full screen, we got a plethora of matchups, all headlined by our marquee matchup between Cibola and Imperial. That is going to be a good one. So we invite you to join us next week for FNL.
And now we leave you with our first ever Jack in the Box play of the week. This comes from tonight's Soul game, where Kofa's Isaac Marquez is going to take this thing to the house against Trevor Brown. This would be the only touchdown scored tonight, and it would be the difference maker as the Kofa Kings win 10-0. Rob, I'm fired up.
Oh yeah, this is going to be an awesome season. Have a great night, folks. We'll see you for week 2.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.